We've learned to adapt to keep economic activity moving along. And I would expect that these new public health measures are going to cause a blip on the economic front, not a big pothole.
Welcome back to the Midweek Exchange, a new year where we're going to be breaking down those big economic issues and explaining how they could have an impact on your life. Brett House, Scotiabank's VP and Deputy Chief Economist, is joining me right now. Hi, Brett. Happy New Year.
Hi, Natalie. Welcome to 2022.
All right. Before we jump into 2022, I just want to go over 2021 for a little bit. There were a lot of unprecedented things that happened there, from manufacturing delays to sky high housing prices. And I just want to know if 2022 is going to be a little bit kinder. First up, this is the year the Bank of Canada is expected to increase interest rates. What can we expect there?
Well, you're right to point to one of the most anticipated things of 2022 being a rise in the policy rate set by the Bank of Canada. And that's likely to be driven by two things. First off, economic output is above the levels that we saw at the beginning of the pandemic, just prior to the shutdowns in March 2020. And the jobs market is also more than fully recovered in absolute terms, though, of course, some sectors are still hurting. But combined, that restoration of economic growth and employment are the conditions we need for a liftoff from the Bank of Canada, which might have been happening at the end of January, but is now probably more likely in April, given the restrictions and the impact of the Omicron variant.
Okay, and let's jump over now to the labor market. We were experiencing some shortages last year. Are those to be expected to continue?
Those are likely going to continue for at least a few months because those shortages are driven principally by the slowdown in entrance of new Canadians and immigrants to Canada over the last year and a half or so. And while those numbers are starting to ramp up again, and we have some pretty ambitious targets for new immigration numbers in 2022 and 2023, it's going to take some time to get all those people into the country, settled and into the labor market. In the meantime, existing residents in Canada are working to a greater extent than we've ever seen. The share of the working age population in Canada that's employed is at the highest level it's ever been at. So it doesn't seem to be the case that people are sitting at home and staying out of the labor market. In fact, as many people as ever are employed. It's just we don't have quite enough people here to fill all the job opportunities that exist.
All right. And how about housing prices? Are they going to keep climbing?
Well, we're unlikely to see any relief there. One of the really key things driving housing prices is that despite all the building sites and towers you see in major Canadian cities, we're still not building and completing enough new homes for the Canadians we have here and the new residents that are likely to be coming in over the next couple of years.
Okay, Brett, and looking forward to this week, what can we expect to see?
Well, we've got job numbers for December coming out on Friday, and those should mark some continued strong gains in the Canadian labor market, which could be dented a little bit by the new restrictions that have been brought in late December and January in Ontario, Quebec, and some other provinces. But the underlying message I'd really like to emphasize is that with every round of restrictions we've had, the impact on the economy has been progressively smaller. We've learned to adapt to keep economic activity moving along. And I would expect that these new public health measures are going to cause a blip on the economic front, not a big pothole.
Definitely a little bit of a silver lining there. Thanks so much, Brett.
Thank you.
And we'll have more Midweek Exchange coming up next Wednesday.